Hello, back in my garden, and we're going to read chapter 6 of Tower at the End of Time by Amy Sparks, second book in our trilogy. Remember, we read the first one at school. Tell your friends, it was a good one, wasn't it? We loved it, sparked our imagination, and this is continuing to do so. So remember, 9 in the first one, she was an orphan. She didn't like her life. She was living in like a little house with other orphans that were made to steal, and she's found this magical house in which she's found some strange people, but you know, she quite likes them. She sees them as friends, her new family, so she's gone back to the house, and now the house is travelling through different times and dimensions. It's got hiccups. So we've got Flabbergast, he's a hopscotching wizard. We've got Eric, who's a massive walrus type cleaner with his feather duster and apron. We've got Dr. Spoon, the Scottish spoon, which I have to practice. He's a wooden spoon with a kilt and a fiery temper who does experiments, and he's trying to find his dish. You know, the dish that ran away with the spoon. Anyway, we've had an urn with a witch that's given a message about the hopscotch competition, and then we've had another message. Do you remember what the other message was about? So Nine couldn't stop but be curious, could she? So she lifted up the lid again, and this time we had a message from, that's right, we had a message from someone who had been turned into a vegetable, and it turns out Flabbergast had turned him into a vegetable. So we've now got like another wizard on the scene, also a boy, around about the same, has the same appearance as Flabbergast, looks like a young boy, yet has an old presence about him. That's how Nine, describes him. And, he could be trouble. He could have a bit of a vendetta, especially if he finds out that Flabbergast is the one. And that's what he's saying. He's going to go to the competition. He's going to win the chance to go to this tomb, this stone that tells the truth. He's going to ask the stone who turned me into a vegetable. He's going to find out, and then he's going to take his revenge. Let's read on. Chapter 6. A strange smell wafted through the kitchen doorway. It was earthy, peppery, and something she couldn't quite put her finger on. Eric was frying a strange smelling concoction in an iron pan. His apron had ominous grey splodges on it, and Nine began to fear this might be her breakfast. "Lady, eat," said Eric. The corners of his mouth were downturned, and his forehead was wrinkled with frowns. "Pancake help." "Oh," said Nine, walking over to the table. This was not good. "Good." Eric flipped what probably meant to be a pancake up in the air. He caught it again and gave a little chair. Nine looked at the ceiling above Eric, where at least 3 other pancakes had been splattered. One was partially peeling off. "I would near touch them, how were you?" said Spoon, with the very best cookery book in the realm. Even with the very best cookery book in the realm, that troll could ne'er make decent pancakes. He was sitting at the wooden table in the middle of the kitchen, sipping delicately from a china cup, but still looking like he was thinking wizard-stabbing thoughts. Nine joined him at the table, on which were laid a teapot, more cups, saucers, and the sugar bowl. There were 2 bright pink, palm-sized ball-looking things with thick, dimpled peel and short, soft spikes. Spoon picked one up and munched it angrily. He rolled over to Nine. "What is it?" asked Nine, prodding it cautiously in case it was going to bite her back. "Some kind of fruit from the conservatory, and better than that. What's coming last?" Nine watched with concern as Eric then loaded her plate or rolled pancakes onto a tray. She quickly bit into the fruit, zinging with definitive undertones of old sock. It was strangely filling, and she gobbled it very quickly. Nine grabbed a cup and a saucer and filled the cup from the teapot. She took a sip and immediately felt a little calmer. Got my tea as well. Strawberry tea. The finest tea in all the realms. "All he cares about is the hopscotch," sighed Spoon. "This tower had better tell us where to find the dish. She's my partner, my friend. too long we've been apart now. 9 frowned. So Dish has the half of the secret for how you turn the things into gold, and you have the other half. Is that correct? Ah, aye, said Spoon. It was a brilliant idea to share it between us until we got separated. Then he yelled towards the study. And until I hitchhiked a ride with a ridiculous wizard who got myself cursed by his sister and stuck in a house for 3 flaming years. He looked at 9 darkly. And I tell you, lass, 3 years is a long time for a person to wait when you've been promised the answer, especially if that person does not like waiting. I can't do a Scottish accent. I'm still remastering it. Work in progress. Who is waiting for the answer? Ah, she's shrouded in mystery only Dish knows. And she would nigh tell me. What will happen when you give this person the secret? Spoon took another sip of his tea. He looked at 9 and narrowed his eyes. Ah, my debt will be paid. What happens after that is no concern of yours, lass. Whoop! Another hiccup. The chair 9 was leaning on suddenly vanished, causing her to lurch into the table. The music box whispered again. 9 pulled it out of her satchel and cradled it thoughtfully. The hiccups are getting stronger. Lady eat, lady like, said Eric, plonking the plate of grey pancakes in front of her, before trotting happily back to his cauldron. 9 stared at the pancakes doubtfully, then gulped down the rest of her tea. Whoop! 9's chair appeared again as the house hiccuped. She pulled it out, sat down at the table, then picked up a rolled pancake and cautiously started to nibble. She said, frowning. What exactly is this pancake, Eric? Nice pancake, the troll smiled proudly as 9 stuffed some more into her mouth. Bone pancake. At that moment, 9 crunched on something hard that made her jaw judder. She froze. 9 waited until Eric's overlong toenails scraped back across the floor to the cauldron. Then spat the pancake out onto her plate. Ah, if there's one thing I've learned in this ridiculous house, lass, grumbled Spoon, it's that you never eat the pancakes. They both peered at Eric, humming by the cauldron. The just about stuck on the ceiling pancake peeled off and splattered onto the troll's head. Whoop! The entire table and its pancakes all disappeared this time. 9 breathed a sigh of relief. Whoop! The chairs disappeared and 9 and Spoon fell on their bottoms. But this time something felt really strange. Well, stranger than usual for a magical house, with hiccups. 9 felt like her stomach had been twisted inside out and her brain had jumped from her head. Judging by the dazed, worried expressions on Spoon's and Eric's faces, she guessed they felt the same. That was different, she asked. Flabbergast came hurtling into the kitchen so fast his hat almost fell off. His eyes were wide and he looked really worried. The wizard headed straight for the kitchen dresser and got down on his hands and knees. He opened the cupboard door and stared inside. Oh dear, he said grimly. Eric and Spoon scrambled over on their hands and knees and looked inside the cupboard. What now? Said 9. Why are you staring into a cupboard? We're not, said Spoon as they continued to stare in the cupboard. 9 tutted loudly and crawled on her hands and knees beside Flabbergast. He huffed at her as she deliberately budged him over and then peered inside herself. Oh, she said, trying and failing to keep the surprise from her voice, because a huge green reptilian eye was staring right back at her. And that takes us to chapter 7. So make some predictions, maybe draw what you think this reptilian eye might belong to, because it's a weird and magical story. And a normal story, we would say it belongs to a lizard, or it belongs to a dinosaur, or belongs to a crocodile. However, this is not a normal story. These are not normal people. So draw a reptilian eye, and then what do you think? What strange, lovely thing could it belong to? I would love to see your drawings. Okay, see you next time for chapter 7.